All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Dr. Stone, Season 1, Episode 22. We are getting Tungsten, baby.
Yeah, we got Tungsten, and it's a She-Light. It's a very, very unique, specific thing that apparently is native also to Japan.
Oh.
It's kind of interesting.
Interesting.
Or at the very least, something that was found in a decent quantity in Japan.
Gotcha. We did figure out that it's that because tungsten is an element, it's something that is in She-Light, and then they can take the She-Light, break it all down, and then get the tungsten from there.
Yeah, it's a cool thing that this show brings out a lot of specific things that people learn with regards to chemistry, geology, a bunch of other stuff in the science fields that, like, I'd either learned maybe some of and just forgotten because it wasn't ever useful, or little things where I'm like, oh yeah, tungsten is like one of the densest, elements we have on Earth. It's really, really fascinating stuff, and well, densest that we can handle like safely,
Right. Yeah, the other things probably not
once the
very
atomic
workable.
number gets pretty high, it starts to get a little bit crazy, but. We are going spelunking, kind of a dungeon delve of sorts.
Yep.
Very, very D&D-esque.
Get some resources.
Treasure cave.
Yep.
But it's Senku and Magma. What a unique team up.
Indeed. Now,
do you think Magma is salty still?
There is that possibility, but I feel like this will be the good test for it because Magma has seen a lot of the stuff that they've done, and it's pretty cool. Yeah. So
salty might also be a little bit extreme. It might just be that they have a bit of a rocky relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we'll see because
we will.
And that's what the episode is probably going to be focused on. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion.
The treasure really was friendship.
Like, once that happened, I was joking. I was like, oh, watch. It's actually the treasure is the friendship. Oh, my God.
But
Chrome,
sometimes that slow ball goes right down the middle, and you just gotta
hit it out of the park. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right. That was a good little spelunking dungeon crawl episode with capped off a bit of birthday stuff and wholesome
power of friendship and everything.
Power of friendship.
And I really like that they didn't do the obvious angle of Magma wants to attack them once they go in there or whatever. Even though he said like, yeah, I was going to attack you once you got in here. But like, and maybe I'm reading into something that wasn't supposed to be taken that way.
Okay.
But I could totally see it being something where Magma, he's lived in the world where it's very simple, right? Strength is what's most important and all that stuff, and there you go, right? And he gets ousted, and he's, maybe a bit frustrated about that. But there's all this other stuff that gets brought in too, right? All these things that he never would have thought possible. Yeah. And his world is getting opened up in an incredible way.
Yes.
And maybe there's a part of him that's jealous, but at the same time, this is pretty amazing.
It is.
And I'd like to see it continue, like he really did try to save Senku, even at the cost of his own life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked that the episode continually brought back him and Senku into opportunities where, he totally could do something if he wanted to. And he wouldn't be at the mercy of, Senku entirely.
Yeah.
And yet he keeps kind of rejecting it as like, yeah, I totally could have killed you. Totally.
That's why I was here in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. But then, he ends up having that moment where he thinks back on all the things that they got from this whole experience.
Yep.
With Senku and stuff. And, it was really wonderful.
And now they have a source for a lot of the minerals that they need and stuff, and the idea that it's not exhausted, right? They got some, right?
Yes, that's true.
They got a good amount, took it back to the village, but there is a ton more, because that was probably the biggest question that I had with this show is, okay, cool. They make all this stuff, awesome.
Right.
How do they collect all the very specific
mats,
quite rare materials that they need in order to do everything, and also to go through the experimentation process, like the whole thing with the cotton candy machine and making cotton candy first so that they can, so they don't use up too much gold, right? Love it. I love it. It's awesome. And now for this kind of stuff here, where we're going to make phones. All right.
Yep.
That probably takes a lot of stuff.
Yep.
So, and now here we go. We pretty much have a source for where they can just be like, let's make kind of whatever we want, and we probably have the materials for it.
Yeah. This show has done a lot of things kind of by the book with regards to the character progressions and the character archetypes. But then when it has little moments like this where it's kind of, pointing out and acknowledging, this is the stuff that we could do that's by the book. And the characters kind of laugh at it and call it cringy.
Right.
And yet they did probably in some ways the best thing in this episode, which was the by the book thing of a flashback that gives us context to a thing that we already could have assumed to have happened.
Oh.
And yet because we didn't see it, because we weren't shown it, we didn't necessarily think about it.
Right.
So then the show uses something coming up in the present, like a birthday, to be an opportunity to show how and why Asagiri again was interested in joining the science, the Nation of Science at all, the Kingdom of Science, was because he was already excited to meet this guy before he even knew him.
Right.
That's so cool. That's such a good way to show that Senku's diligent dedication to science and doing the little things that were, necessary for his survival and also his just, own recollection and kind of staying sane in the middle of all this. And yet that kind of gave Asagiri again a taste of what was possible if he worked with this guy.
Right.
That's so cool.
The whole idea of, a character actually already sort of knew about you before you met kind of a thing and wanted to meet you and all that stuff. That's something that I've seen happen several times in, say, like rom-coms and things like that.
Sure.
And it can work there. It can work there, all right. But one of the things that I think makes it work really well here is that Asagiri, again, is also the exact type of person that would basically fit all these things together. Yeah, he's observant, right? So if he sees things like this, he logs them away, right? Because he's a mentalist, right? He takes all those little details and pieces of information that might seem inane, and then makes something out of it, right?
Yep.
And here he's like, hey, from what I can sort of psychoanalyze about this science dude or whatever, he seems like a pretty cool guy. Huh. I'd like to meet him one day. That adds a bit more believability to the events that we've already accepted of he decided to join them, he decided to split from Tsukasa, right?
But it also shows a lot of care that the character has for the current standing by the fact that they brought it up now. There's the meta aspect of it's brought up primarily for the audience, But the fact that he brought it up to Senku is kind of a thing of like, the reason why I instigated the surprise birthday party thing was because I wanted to show my appreciation to you for all that you've done thus far. And I expected some of the stuff that we did in the past. But a lot of the other stuff, no, I didn't expect that. That stuff surprised me. Because he was present for the light bulb.
Oh yeah, he was present for the light bulb.
That was the start of it.
Right, that was like the confirmation of what he already suspected of like
we have a key back to the future with you.
And also you're a good person, it seems like.
Yes, exactly.
Because I feel like in the case of the villagers and everything, they are definitely friendly with Senku. They are even friends with Senku, certainly in the case of Chrome and whatnot.
Right, we just don't get a lot of screen time for the non-main,
because with Chrome, the connection that he has with Senku is different than for the rest of the village. They're both science nerds, so they bond over that. Great. Right. For everyone else in the village, there's also they've bonded with Senku in their own ways.
Friendship,
friendship. But it's also something where Senku is essentially their means for survival right now in a way that's beyond the day-to-day that they've been dealing with so far. Right. Yes, they could get rid of Senku, even though they hadn't even thought of that, and then Tsukasa would probably leave them alone. But this is something where basically someone who doesn't have that same connection to Senku as the rest of them, because he's from the old world, is able to have a different perspective. And because of that, I feel like it's something where he can connect with Senku in a different way than everyone else. Which is important, especially if he's then the one that, brings up things like birthdays and whatnot.
In the same way, Magma is kind of like that as well.
Oh, sure.
Magma is the character that was the bad guy who now is on their team because of the power of friendship. And then in this very episode, they kind of mock the whole power of friendship thing as like, ew, cringy, bro. Like, no, not at all.
How is that more valuable than this actual treasure trove of rocks and everything that we can, use? Yeah.
Right. But they're still using it here. Magma is someone that was needing the power of friendship.
Right.
He needed an opportunity like this. And Senku, I think, saw that, there was definitely a utilitarian reason to bring him along as opposed to another really strong character like Kohaku. But still, his strength was something where he was able to then be valued beyond being just the leader.
Right.
One of the things that I think is really important when you're in a leadership position is delegating properly and empowering those that you don't necessarily like. Because one of the things that's really tricky when you're in a leadership position is you're going to naturally have people that you gravitate away from because your personalities clash.
Yeah.
But the people that you don't like have skills probably that you don't have just by the nature of the law of large numbers.
Like, You're different.
So why not in some ways bridge the gap of I don't necessarily like this person by empowering them in what they're good at? Then what might end up happening is they just start to like you a little bit to where you're like, I actually like the fact that they like me, so it's easier for me to like them now than when before I didn't like them.
And also, something that Senku did here that's in some ways an even bigger brain move is that because it's obvious, right, Magma could try and attack us if we brought him into the cave, right? And Chrome isn't the only one who figured that out. Magma also would be very much... They were all thinking about it, right? Even Magma. Which means when Senku says, I'm totally going to trust you and bring along to this place where you have every opportunity to kill us, leave us, leave our bodies in there where no one will find, and then go back and say, oh my God, an accident happened, they slipped and fell or something, right?
Yep.
That's a lot of trust. Yep. That's a lot of vulnerability.
It is.
And while there is definitely the possibility, like they were in a good situation where Magma didn't seem to be the kind of person that would do that from the get-go, right? It wasn't like his mind needed to be changed, even though he said that because my angry eyebrows can't admit what how I really feel, Baka. It could have been a situation where he actually maybe was going, thinking, all right, eventually I'm going to need to get rid of the Senku guy so I can reestablish my territory. Yeah. Oh, no. He actually is believing in me and giving me responsibilities and trusting me. It's not something where it's like, all right, but you're not going to betray us, are you? Like if he did that, Magma might have been like, yeah, this asshole, let's get rid of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Senku didn't do that.
Yeah.
And that's powerful.
Yeah. We got an episode where we got to see not only this kind of unique trio working together, but we got to see people of all three different strengths end up kind of coming together and have success in an area. And one of the things that I think specifically with guys that I've seen allows them to bond really well is when you put a problem in front of them and you say, solve it together. Yeah. And then all three of them end up basically giving their all to make it happen. So the way Senku said, if any one of us wasn't here, this wouldn't have happened. I think it's really important that he makes that distinction, not just for Magma's sake, but also for Chrome's.
Right.
In that Senku did just kind of tell Chrome what to do. And because Chrome was a body, like a living person up there, he made it happen. But, Senku could have told, the grandpa how to do it.
That's true.
And he might have been able to do it just fine as well.
Yep.
So I think Senku has learned a lot just in this short amount of time of how to work with people and make them feel really valued and helpful in this situation, even when, say, the MVP of this whole thing was definitely Magma.
Right.
Like,
and in some ways, you might even say that one of the reasons Senku brought Chrome along, because, like, okay, yeah, Chrome could also do the sciencey stuff if Senku wasn't there, not to the same extent, but he could still be helpful for that, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I could also see it being is he's like, Chrome, I know that you probably really doubt Magma. Right, you were the one who fought him after all.
That's true. So you two might have the most beef, other than me and Magma. Yeah.
So I need you to come along specifically so that if there is any issues with that, that can get resolved.
Yes.
Right? Because if he didn't bring him along, let's say he brought Kohaku, right? Because Kohaku's also really strong and everything, and they'd be able to bring back more of the minerals and whatnot.
Right.
Cool. That probably would have worked. Just fine. But Chrome probably still would have had a beef with Magma.
Yep.
And the apology that Chrome gave, it's not just that Chrome resolves his beef with Magma within himself, but he lets Magma know that, right? When he apologized, that was incredibly important and unprompted. Or wait, no.
It was prompted.
It was prompted, yeah.
It was prompted.
But
it was a slight prompt, but it was definitely prompted.
Right, but that's still important that it happened, because then Magma can know that essentially he has been fully included into the village. He's not some ostracized outcast or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Also, by presenting the two of them there together, it gave Chrome every reason to want to betray them. It's kind of a cool thing. Gave Magma every reason to want to betray them.
Yep, exactly. If he's not going to do that here, then we don't have anything to worry about. See, he's not going to do it.
Yeah,
and Magma also knows that he's not going to do it, because it's sort of like this drawing a line in the sand, giving an ultimatum of is this what you want to do?
Right. Yeah.
And then if he decides, he might even come up with a different reason. It's. They saved me when I fell into the pit, or it's not quite the right time. They'd be suspicious if it was here. That can sort of tilt the needle a bit, so it's like, okay, maybe this is okay. Maybe I don't need to actually kill them after all.
Yeah, it's a lot of good fun. I loved that the birthday thing was correct. It did end up happening. I started to doubt myself as they were starting to give a little bit of focus to it, thinking that it was more of a worry danger thing regarding Tsukasa potentially like having some kind of a raiding party that Gen was aware of, but he didn't want like Senku and Chrome to worry about it. So like he had been like maybe there was a message or a meeting that was going to be passed along from the spy, that was nearby. The girl that they gave the cotton candy to or something.
Right.
So I was like, maybe there's something on that angle.
Right, something we haven't accounted for. They were able to, get around the whole Winter situation or what something.
Have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that they did the birthday angle. I love that the whole town came together on this. I also like that it wasn't necessarily some, like, just kind of celebration.
Yeah.
But it was a thing where they're like, hey, Senku, you taught us a lot of this stuff.
Right. Yep.
We're now going
giving
to
back.
We're going to take all the knowledge that we have and some of the stuff that you gave us, the resources and time, combine it all together and just basically say, hey, thanks. We appreciate it. But what I like here is really cool is that it's tied also to space. A dream of his that he had.
Right.
And that's just really precious. That's just really sweet, because it's something where he can kind of look up at the sky and go, right.
I look above, the stars are bright. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but it's also something where it shows that they know him as a person.
Yep.
If they had just made, say, a cake or something like that, it's like, hey, we know that it's your birthday. We know a little factoid piece of information about you.
God,
but that's something that they could have done that for anybody, and it wouldn't be anything different.
You have those presents. Sorry, I was going to say you have those presents where someone gave you something of sentimental value, even if it doesn't have some utility like this.
Right.
But you remember that gift for years, whereas all the like just kind of niceties that happen on your birthday, you're like, those get lost away in the course of time.
But that one random stupid picture that someone was like, I took this and I put it in a little dorky frame. It's like, yes, I remember that. Like, Yep.
All right. Well, y'all, 2 episodes left, I believe.
Yeah, it's almost over.
I love that we're getting a second season, though. I love that we're getting a second season, because this show has grown on me so much over the course of time to be basically like one of those, I would say, fun shonen that like I didn't expect necessarily to like this much,
because it has all the elements of like
power of friendship
and everything,
cringy, bro.
right but it's done in this completely different package where instead it's more of like a sort of MacGyver-esque, you know, like, hey, learn some fun stuff, you know, kind of a deal.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all the characters really stick to their shtick and have a lot of fun to play around within it.
But then also have moments to surprise you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. This is good.
Yeah.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. You can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right. If you like science, well, no, it's a sci-fi novel, so doesn't really have any of that, but it's called Battle Lines and it's really cool, and if you're interested, it's on Amazon, link in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.